seeking the truth never gets old. Introducing June's Journey, the free-to-play mobile game that will immerse you in a thrilling murder mystery. Join June Parker as she uncovers hidden objects and clues to solve her sister's death in a beautifully illustrated world set in the Roaring '20s. With new chapters added every week, the excitement never ends. Download June's Journey now on your Android or iOS device, or play on PC through Facebook Games.
This is Find Your Dream Job, the podcast that helps you get hired, have the career you want, and make a difference in life. I'm your host, Mac Pritchard. I'm also the founder of Mac's List. It's a job board in the Pacific Northwest that helps you find a fulfilling career. Every Wednesday, I talk to a different expert about the tools you need to get the work you want. It's painful to lose your job, but unemployment also can create opportunity. Nicole Serena Silver is here to talk about why losing a job can be a gift. She's the author of the Career Clarity Guide, Vaquita Full Potential. Nicole also writes for Forbes on the future of work and professional development. She joins us from the San Francisco Bay Area. Well, let's get started, Nicole. You work with a lot of job seekers. What kind of reactions do you see when someone loses a job?
Sure, it tends to be fear. People jump into fear, and understandably so, to disrupt somebody's income and their livelihood. It makes sense that that's a fearful moment. And they jump into it, and it can be really detrimental, actually, just jumping right in, especially if you're operating out of fear. People can feel that. And I think we've all experienced interactions with somebody who is coming from a place of feeling desperate versus somebody who's secure and confident. And if you just pause and check in with yourself and how that feels when you're interacting with those types of people, you can tell that you would be more inclined to want to interact more with somebody who is more secure and confident.
You mentioned fear. Are there other emotions that are common after a job loss?
Oh, tons. I mean, I think every individual is unique in how they experience their job loss. But what I've seen in terms of patterns is that there's that fear and that scarcity mindset that pushes them to just jump right back into the job search when really that is not the most ideal thing to do. This is an opportunity for them to pause and really reset their lives and reset it in a way in which they can really truly thrive and which is more aligned with them, which is better for them and also better for the employee or employer as well.
You mentioned that sometimes people will react to a job loss by sending out lots and lots of applications, especially immediately after getting the news. Is that a good strategy, Nicole?
No, no, I wouldn't say it's a good strategy. I mean, it does serve to be able to go out there and get a bunch of different job applications out there, but it's more beneficial when you're really attuned to who you are and what it is you want to be doing so that you can create jobs and reflect the jobs that are aligned, and employers will note that. But not just that, it's really important to not just send out a bunch of applications, especially in today's day and age, because network plays such a big key in being able to get your job. I think it's 80% of all jobs that are not necessarily listed, or if they're listed for show. So it's really important to access your network during this time.
Are there other mistakes you see people make after a job loss besides sending out lots and lots of applications?
You know, other pieces that I see is really the missed opportunity of taking the time to be able to pause and reset your career in one that is more in alignment with you. There is a huge opportunity that I feel so many people miss, and it truly saddens me because the energy and time is non-refundable. You just don't get that back, and so many people have gone into their career path as a default. And they aren't actually doing what it is that they're good at or that they love doing. Or maybe they're good at it, but they don't love doing it, or vice versa. And you always want to get to the sweet spot where you love what you're doing and you're good at what you're doing. And taking that time to really reflect is crucial and key, and you are never too old to redo this. I think that one of the pieces that I see sometimes in our society is that a lot of people who are mid-career, they feel like they've already gone down the path of having to stick to their career choices. And it's a misnomer. And in fact, it's a mistake a lot of the times too. But there's actually a psychology concept in where when you start going down a path, you feel like you have to buy into it and you feel like you have to keep going with whatever it is. But this is a moment in where you can break that and really step into this more consciously versus default in terms of what you want to be doing and set your life up to be more fulfilling and more successful so that you can look back at your life when you're 100 years old and really be proud of what it is that you did.
So a job loss offers you the opportunity to hit the reset button. What do you say to someone who's considering that, but thinks that, to your point, they have invested so much in their current field and their current occupation that it's just too late to start over?
I would say it's never too late. Never. I actually did a lot of research in people who were older and reset their careers. I mean, there's even models that I found that started modeling at the age of 70. So don't get in your own way. There are so many possibilities that are just waiting for you. And usually what tends to happen is somebody blocks their own path. So don't let that happen and ensure that you can live a life in which you're really happy.
Many people may think it's too late to hit that reset button and pursue new opportunities after a job loss. What are some of the other objections you hear from job seekers who think they just need to keep doing what they've been doing?
One of the things that I found, and what I was having a conversation with one of my friends who worked for corporate and got laid off, she was talking about how a lot of people in her profession who also got laid off are chasing after the golden handcuffs, and it really has turned into a routine. I mean, it's what it is that people know, where they're looking for, money first and foremost, and kind of circling back to feeling desperate. Employers will pick up on that piece. And if you're just chasing after the money and not showing your passion for what the job is, that it will actually work against you and what it is that you're trying to accomplish in getting yourself hired. So taking that pause to really take care of yourself and step in to take conscious choices for what it is that you want, and knowing how you want to be approaching each of these jobs instead of just throwing out a bunch of different resumes is incredibly helpful for actually being able to land the job that you want.
This is terrific, Nicole. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, Nicole Serena Silver will continue to share her advice on why losing a job can be a gift.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Whoa. Landing an account this big will totally change my landscaping business. It's going to mean hiring more guys and more equipment and new trucks for the new guys to drive the new equipment in. I don't know if I'm ready.
You can do this, and Ford Pro FinSimple can help. Our experts are ready to make growing pains less painful for your business with flexible financing solutions that meet the needs of your business today when you need them. Get started at fordpro.com/financing.
We're back in the Max List studio. I'm talking with Nicole Serena Silver. She's the author of the Career Clarity Guidebook, The Key to Full Potential. Nicole also writes for Forbes on the future of work and professional development. She joins us from the San Francisco Bay Area. Now, Nicole, before the break, we were talking about why losing a job can be a gift. And we talked about how people react after a job loss. It's normal to feel fear and financial pressure. And you made the point that there's an opportunity here too. And we talked about some of the objections and concerns that people might have about seeing it as an opportunity. Let's talk now about what to do next. So you are ready to hit the reset button. What should you do, Nicole, if you want to make the most of this opportunity?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different ways in which you can start touching into what is next for you. I always like the tactic of reflecting on what energizes you, what you feel neutral with, and what depletes you. It's always a really good indicator in terms of what you should be doing more of and less of. And really taking the time to reflect on what it is that you want to be doing. And sometimes I know a lot of people are hesitant because it is a lot of work to really take that time to look at all the pieces of who you are, what careers are out there, and then actually putting together a plan. But what you're doing in doing that is building a future in which you will be happy. So putting in the work, which can take maybe 2, 3 months of time, can lead to a lifetime of happiness. And it's so worth it. It's an opportunity that nobody should be missing up during this period of time.
How do you get started, and what do you do once you do start?
Yeah, well, I've created a framework, and the framework is really around like self-reflection. That's the first step, is looking at all the intricate parts of who you are, because you can't move forward with what it is that you want to do without understanding who you are. Everything from personality to what are your values to, as I was talking about, what, energizes you and depletes you. What values do you have, not just with business, but also personal values, and what kind of work-life balance do you want, as well as looking at budget and all those different pieces. And then after you understand all the intricate parts of who you are and the lifestyle that you want, then you can pair that by uncovering and researching different types of jobs. You can go online and do different Google searches with different keywords. You can start talking to people. I also love the idea of going into the world and just being open and asking yourself, what can I fall in love with today? And it might be even that you go and flip through magazines and you get inspired, like, wow, that looks really interesting, but just staying wide open without putting limitations on yourself is one of the really important key steps after you've identified all the intricate parts of who you are. And then as things come up, then you're able just like stay open, grab as many ideas as possible, and then you'll filter that out and find your top 3 jobs. And from your top 3 jobs, then do informational interviews and make sure that you're really clear on what those jobs are. Because sometimes jobs on paper look really good, but the actual tasks of every day could be very different. And then create a plan for success. Oh, and a piece that is also really important that I think a lot of people tend to miss is looking at company culture, company size. And that's an important key piece, because some people might actually really love the job that they found for themselves and end up in a place where it's not the fit because of culture, and mistake that for not loving the job, but it's actually the culture. So if they switch cultures, they'd actually really love the job.
So I'm hearing multiple parts here: self-reflection to figure out what it is that you want, identifying ideally 3 top jobs that interest you, then go out and talk to people who are doing that work to find out if this is indeed something you want to do. Build a plan for finding those positions that you do settle on, and also understanding company culture. I'm curious, Nicole, self-reflection, are there exercises or structures that you've seen that are particularly helpful for people who might not know how to do that on their own, or are looking for ways to organize their self-reflection and turn it into results that they can apply to identify those top 3 jobs?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I created with my guidebook. It's a structure and it's broken down even into weeks in helping you identify all those parts because I think how it's worked in the career development industry is that you get bits and pieces that are kind of, you know, all over the place. And so what I've done is I've brought them all together into one place. But one of the things that I really recommend, because self-reflection is incredibly hard, is to find somebody to go through this process with. I know for even for myself, going through content can be incredibly difficult. I having an accountability buddy or a group, sometimes book clubs or maybe even people who all got laid off at the same time to go through this process together is really, really helpful for accountability and actually getting through it.
You mentioned identifying 3 jobs that interested you. Why 3? Why not 5 or 1? What's magic about that number, and how can exploring several options help you get clarity about what you want to do next and to make the most of this opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you start with a lot of jobs and then you narrow that down to the 3. And why 3 is the magic number is because it gives you the diversity of really seeing what those jobs exactly are and being able to hone in on that one job that you want. More than 3 can feel overwhelming. 3 is very doable, especially if you're going to be conducting informational interviews. But one of the other things I'd like to note here, Mac, is I feel like one of the things that is a misnomer when it comes to our jobs is that we're only supposed to have this one job and this one passion, and that's just not the case when it comes to careers. Things shift. So how I see us is kind of like a tree. The roots of who we are stay consistent. So we have inherent patterns that follow us throughout our lives. But then as we evolve, things can change, perspectives can change, life can change. You might have a baby or a parent that needs taken care of or need to move somewhere. So as these things change, there might be different jobs that are aligned with that coherent, pattern that runs throughout you. So it's kind of like all the different jobs that are possible can be like the branches of the tree. And it's about finding which branch is the most alive for you in this stage of your life. And it might be that you're fortunate enough where you do find one specific career and that's it. But it's also okay if you do end up moving into the different branches and there are transferable skills because again, coming back to the roots, the core of who you are stays the same, which means those skills that you have stay the same and you can find ways to translate them if you ever do want to switch your career.
Well, it's been a terrific conversation. Nicole, now tell us what's next for you.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about getting my guidebook more out there, and I am now working on an entrepreneurial guidebook to help people figure out if they are starting a career, what is the best way to go about entrepreneurship? Because there's a lot of concepts out there, but that haven't been really narrowed in and that help you find the best path for you versus a generic entrepreneurial path.
Well, congratulations on the forthcoming book. And I know that listeners can learn more about you and your work by visiting your 2 websites, Vakita.co as well as NicoleSerenaSilver.com. And you also invite listeners to connect with you on LinkedIn. And when you do reach out to Nicole on LinkedIn, please mention you heard her on Find Your Dream Job. Now, Nicole, given all the great advice you've shared today, what's the one thing you want a listener to remember about why losing a job can be a gift?
I would say don't wait. Don't wait to create a life that you love.
Next week, our guest will be Dorothy Mashburn. She's an interview and negotiation coach. Dorothy is passionate about teaching women the skills they need to land great jobs that pay well. Salary negotiation starts before you send your first job application. To get the pay you want, you need to know what you want to earn. Join us next Wednesday when Dorothy Mashburn and I talk about why you need a salary goal at the start of your job search. Until next time, thanks for letting us help you find your dream job. This show is produced by Max List. Susan Thornton-Hoff schedules our guests and writes our newsletter. Lisa Kislenberry Anderson manages our social media. Our sound engineer and editor is Matt Fiorillo. Dawn Mole creates our transcripts, and our music is by Freddie Trujillo. This is Mac Pritchard. See you next week.